Hello, everyone. This is Sword. Welcome back to another review. Today, we're taking a look at the Roses Elsa Cambrian. And I'll be honest, this is a headphone that I didn't really grab my attention at first, just because it's wireless and I didn't think it was going to be very good. But the more I used it, the more I realized just how nice the quality of life is here. The Cambrian lets me go from listening wirelessly while I'm out and about or just doing stuff around the house. And then when I sit down at my desk, I can actually just plug it in with a normal 3.5 millimeter cable. No worrying about battery, no switching headphones, no clutter. It's a feature I didn't know that I really wanted or really existed, and I actually really love it. Before we dive in, just a quick disclaimer. As always, ROSESELSA did send us out for the review. They don't get to watch this video. They don't tell me what to say. They don't tell me what to put in it or anything. It's just what I want it to be. And audio is always subjective. This is just my experience with these. All right, let's talk about the design and build. These are $50 headphones, and they actually feel quite solid for $50. It is mostly plastic, which you kind of expect at this price, but there's no like creaking or weird flexing. Everything feels good. The adjustment sliders are metal. They hold their position well. They're easy to adjust. I probably wouldn't throw them at a wall, but for everyday use, like I have been very satisfied and haven't really noticed any issues at all with the build quality. Another nice touch with them is the portability. The ear cups will rotate 90 degrees, so you can kind of fold them in, kind of toss them in a bag and have them a bit folded and look a bit better without taking up so much space. There is no bag or anything. Unboxing experience is nothing fancy. You get the headphones, the manual, USB charging cable, and the 3.5 to 3.5 cable, so you can have it wired. Very nice. It is braided. I do wish it was a little bit longer for gaming sometimes, and there's a little bit of microphonics from like the cable, but you don't really notice it while audio's playing. But if you're not playing anything, you can kind of hear it hitting the desk or what have you, but it's not that bad. Comfort for me is a little bit of a mixed bag. For me and my wife, like the fit is great, just wearing them normally. The Menly foam ear pads are comfortable, and we had no issues with general use. But I find the headband can be a little bit of a hot spot on the top of my head for longer sessions. And if you're someone kind of like me, who sometimes you need to move them off the side of your head to hear, because I have kids talking to me or something's happening, I find that they're not very comfortable to wear like sideways like that. It's just not a comfortable way to wear these ones, at least for me. As for the color choices, there is blue, black, and silver color. I don't have any issues with fingerprints on my version. I think someone else was saying that the black version has, because of the glossy parts, there's lots of fingerprints. It doesn't really show up on the blue, but black it probably will. So yeah, black, blue, and then there's like a silvery gray version. So there are some color options. It doesn't have to be this blue. Feature-wise, these have quite a lot going for them. Big one, $50. They have ANC. The ANC for them is rated up to 48 decibels, which is pretty good for headphones. There are 4 different modes. There's a full ANC, a wind noise reduction mode for outdoors, a normal mode, and a transparency mode. And there's some little switches in between I'll show you on the app when we go into there that lets you really kind of fine-tune those experiences. Battery life, it's rated at 100 hours on a single charge with a 150 milliamp hour battery. I haven't run into any issues. I haven't had to charge it once since I had it. So far, it's lasting forever. It also has the IPX4 water resistance, which is nice for peace of mind if you get caught in the rain or you're working out with them and you get a bunch of sweat. On the wireless side, it's using Bluetooth 5.3, which means solid connection stability. You've got both LDAC for high-quality streaming and LC3 for low latency. And you can connect it to 2 devices at once, so you could be watching something on your laptop and take a call on your phone without having to reconnect or disconnect or do anything. Very solid feature. I'm glad it's there. I don't really have a use for it, but I know that people absolutely do. That said, you do need an app to access all of the wireless features. And speaking of the app, there's no fine-tuning EQ built into the app. They just have 3 presets: rock, hi-fi, and pop. That's it. All right. If you're trying to get onto the wireless app for the Cambrian and you need to download everything, it's called the RoseLink app. It is a pretty functional app. It could have a few more features, in my opinion, but overall, it seems to be working fine for everything I've needed to do so far. It's easy enough. You have the headphones on, you press the headphones or IEMs, whatever wireless device that you have from ROSESELSA, and it connects usually right away, and there's usually no problems. Um, right away, you get your noise control, ANC, wind, normal, and transparency or transparent mode. You click on transparent. If you click on the transparency mode, you do have three different options of standard, voice, or comfort. Overall, they all work really good. Normal's just going to be not really blocking anything out, but not emphasizing anything either. Wind mode is just wind mode, and ANC is just the standard 48 decibel that it's rated to for that. EQ, like I said earlier, it's pretty basic. You get the three different options. You got pop, hi-fi, and rock. Overall, like, there could be more here. I wish there was a bit more options or EQ or hey, you're setting up your own band, but overall, these are functional for what they are. Further down, you get your game mode for reduced latency. If you're using wireless, I would probably recommend, even though there isn't that much latency at all with game mode on and on the LLR DAC setting, I would probably just say if you have the ability to just plug in the 3.5mm and you're not going to have any latency, but also you won't have the ANC and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a trade-off. I'd prefer just the faster, instant, no latency option. Dual device connection is there. Lossless audio protocols, you have a couple different ones. It does have a find device, and you can kind of set up what touching the device does for volume up, volume down, buttons. There are some lab features, which are like kind of early access features that haven't fully been published. Currently, there's only the notification sound level on here, which you can adjust. And lastly, you have a firmware upgrade option if there's an update and you need to do an update. But overall, that's built right into here. So you do need the app to access quite a few different features. But like overall, like everything you need to do is built here right on the app. Very simple, easy to access, and straightforward. Before I get into sound for the gear that I've been using for the testing. On desktop, I used the FIO K11 and the Topping E2X2. On mobile, I was using my Poco F5. On desktop, I used the Music Bee for local files and Tidal for streaming, and I've linked my full test track in the description if you want to check out what I listen to kind of with every headphone and just music I enjoy. Wirelessly, you've got the three EQ presets I mentioned earlier. My favorite is Walk. It gives the low end a nice little boost without going too far overboard. Pop sounds a bit wonky to me. Vocals kind of are a bit wonky on some tracks. And hi-fi, it was actually pretty good. I preferred Rock just because I feel like these need to be a bit more engaging rather than like the hi-fi sound. But the cool thing is when you plug these in with 3.5mm cable and your wire, it's the sweet spot. It's kind of in between hi-fi and rock. So it has that a bit more bass emphasis, but it's not as like toned down as what hi-fi is. That's probably my favorite. Hardware inside is pretty unique for the price. 40mm wood fiber diaphragm with some special tuning called HR2 Plunk technology. Don't really know what that means, but it works. The tuning overall is actually pretty good. Overall, I'd probably describe it as punchy in the low end, warm in the mids, and clean in the treble. And for $50, these are way more resolving than I was initially expecting. The bass is punchy and clean. There's no bloat, no muddiness. There's no bleeding into the mids. It's not a bass headphone by any means, but it is more musical, and it does have the energy in the low end without really overpowering any of the mids or anything else in the track. The mids are slightly warm and have a good texture, but I do have to mention that the upper mids get a little bit spicy. Tracks like Backbone by Gojira, they really push their way into the main focus of the track. And if you're sensitive to that frequency range, like these probably aren't going to be for you. Vocals in general sit a little bit forwards in the mix, nothing crazy. Both male and female vocals actually have a pretty natural timbre, which makes vocal heavy tracks feel energetic. That said, with some EQ presets, especially on certain tracks, vocals can sound a little off. It wasn't consistent with like recreating it on all vocals, but on some of the test tracks, I did notice it happened. The treble has a nice sparkle to it. It's detailed and energetic, but it's not harsh or really overdone or really bumped up for details, quote unquote. I don't think treble sensitive folks will actually have a problem in this section. And honestly, the clarity at this price point is pretty impressive. As for technicalities, soundstage, imaging, they're just okay. They're adequate for the price. They don't really stand out. Instrument separation is actually pretty good, though things can get a little crowded in busy tracks. Dynamics are punchy and lively, which keep things fun, but nothing's really crazy in the technicalities. As for gaming, $50, headphone. What about gaming? Are they good for gaming? I think due to the technicalities just being kind of okay, I find that FPS games and games where audio cues are going to be like, you need to pay attention to these. I feel like you might miss some and it's just not going to be the perfect experience for you. That being said, for RPGs and immersive single player experiences, I really enjoyed these. I played through Stellar Blade with these, and the music actually sounded fantastic throughout the game. The world felt engaging, and things going on really kind of stood out. I did feel like I missed some smaller environmental details and sounds here and there, but overall, like the general experience was actually quite good. But do keep in mind, comfort over long sessions might be an issue for some, so they might not be that headphone you're going to sit down and play games with for 4+ hours. So, where does that leave us? The ROSESELSA Cambrian is a really easy headphone to recommend. It's budget friendly, sounds great for the price, and the ability to switch between wireless and wired on the fly. I think that's a game changer. I don't know how many other headphones have that, but for how I use headphones day to day, add in ANC, it's 100-hour battery life. It's actually a very seriously good package that's versatile for wireless and wired use. I think it's really cool. If you're looking for something that just works, whether you're out and about or commuting or sitting at your desk, I think this is actually worth a look. As always, thank you so much for watching. And if you've tried the Cambrian, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, feel free to ask any questions. Links to check these out are down below. And I think that's everything. Have a wonderful day. Peace.